Welcome back to another installment of The Traitors. Season 3 on Peacock is back, and I'm excited and I want to talk about it. Hit the like and subscribe button as the intro plays. Okay, if you're new here, you must know I don't go through all the details. I just don't. I don't have the memory for it, and I go off the dome. I'm not reading a script, so I'm just going off the dome, and sometimes at my big age, I forget some details.
I'm 50 years old.
So let's get started. First of all, Alan Cumming is back, and one thing he's going to do is give us looks. He gives us looks on looks on looks. And guess what? I am a Big Brother fan, so many of you might know that because many of you are here because of my Big Brother reviews, and some of you are just finding me out. Welcome too. But more so than a Big Brother fan, I am a Real Housewives fan. I am a Bravo fan. So some housewives are on there. But guess what? Not my favorite housewives, unfortunately. I mean, I like Dorinda. And I kind of like Robin when she first started in Real Potomac, and then she just went downhill real fast, everybody. For those of you who don't know Robin from Real Housewives, Robin has a bad reputation of just kind of being there and not really showing up to work until her last season.
Robin is pretty regular, so I really wasn't expecting a whole...
Here, we're talking about the Traitors. So that's Robin Dixon. People don't like Robin Dixon. And, then there's Chanel Ayan from Real Housewives of Dubai. I barely watched that. I watched half of the first season. They just kind of bored me, but I did find delight in Chanel Ayan because she's just kind of whimsical and quirky. And Dorinda likes to make it nice. She used to really show up on Real Housewives of New York, the original one with the ladies who love to get drunk. Dorinda was known for wanting to make it nice, but then, going crazy on people.
Sorry.
So those are the housewives that I'm happy to see. But other Bravo celebrities I'm not too thrilled to see was Tom Sandoval. I watched maybe one season of Vanderpump Rules, or maybe a few seasons back in the early days. And I always thought it was something very shady about him with his shifty eyes. And guess what? He's back with his shifty eyes and sweating a lot. Tom Sandoval is sweating a lot, and I know that he had a scandal with his ex Ariana recently, but I didn't really get into it because, again, I don't watch Vanderpump Rules anymore, and who cares? Then there's this girl from Summer House or Winter House, this black girl. What's her name? Is it Brittany? Let me just tell you, she is a waste of energy, a waste of airtime or footage, right, as of now on The Traitors. As of the first 3 episodes, I forgot she was there until they panned the camera on her, until she was paired up with somebody. But, on this Traitors episode, they have new twists. On this season, they have new twists. Alan basically told them in the beginning that, before they entered the house, when everybody was so excited to see people and they were introducing themselves, that basically there's a twist and some guy in a cloak came out. And, Alan gave them the option to shake his hand, and then whoever shakes his hand first can eliminate somebody in the cast. And already there was some pre-existing beefs, as people were riding in, onto the property at Alan's castle. People were saying, well, who don't you want to see? And then, of course, the person they didn't want to see was there. Go figure. Of all the people on Survivor, who don't you want to see? Tony. Oh, here's Tony. They asked Danielle Reyes from Big Brother, who don't you want to see? Brittany. Oh, go figure. Brittany's here. Now, that was a little staged, but hey, moving right on to when they get to Alan. So, again, Alan said, you shake my hand, you can get rid of somebody. So, instantly they started going to this girl named Carolyn, who was from Survivor. Carolyn is wacky. Carolyn is tatted up. She just, I hate to say it, she looks like she's in drug withdrawal. That's what she just kind of looks like to me. Not that I know a lot of drug users who've been through withdrawal. She just seems off.
My father's doing coke. You know, my mother thinks she's Aunt Margaret. She's teasing the hair with a bottle of vodka. You know, so dysfunctional, cross-addicted family. Still,
she seems like a Tim Burton character. Like she's just kind of hanging on there, like a skeleton. But yeah. So Carolyn is looking at this guy Tony. Like Tony's treacherous. I want to get rid of him. And she's looking at this guy named Jeremy. And Jeremy's like, don't do it. But I don't know if that was editing. It could have been editing. So anyhow, Alan revealed who the guy was in the cloak, and it was this guy who they called Boston Bob, and he's from Survivor. And Carolyn didn't want to see Bob in the house, and even some Big Brother people didn't want to see Bob in the house. So nobody ended up shaking Alan's hand. Anyhow, so they get in the house. They have tea. They do whatever. They say wow, the house is great. Have y'all noticed that people come dressed really crazy? The women in particular, they come dressed trying to look like, it's kind of, we're paying homage to Scotland with these weird, quirky plaid looks. And they're wearing all these crazy outfits in the house that, who would wear that in America? But whatever. So they have this round table, the first round table where the traitors will be chosen by Alan. He goes around the table, first he has the interviews with everybody. Why should I pick you to be a traitor? And, everybody wants to be a traitor except for Tom Sandoval. He said, I wouldn't be a good traitor. And he wouldn't, because he looks guilty. He just has a guilty look. He's always had a guilty look. So anyhow, it came down to it. He chose 3 traitors. He chose this Carolyn chick from Survivor. He chose Danielle. And can I just say, I knew when I saw who was cast for the season that Danielle would be chosen as a traitor. It was just obvious to me. But then they chose from RuPaul's Drag Race, Bob the drag queen. Side note, there are a lot of Bobs and Robs on this season, just so you know. A lot of Bobs and Robs. We have Bob from The Biggest Loser, Bob H. Bob the drag queen. We had Bob, Boston Bob. We have Robin, because a lot of people online call her regular Robin or Rob. They try to imply that she's a lesbian because she's kind of, masculine. But I don't think she's a lesbian. I just think she was an athlete. She's tall, and she was married to an athlete, and she's just kind of awkward. That's what I think of. And she's not really made for TV. Hence why she probably got kicked off The Real Housewives. Anyhow, this isn't about Robin. Oh, wait. This is about Robin. Am I the only one who thought that Robin would show up on the show kind of like Sheree did?
Who gonna check me, boo?
Last season, Sheree Whitfield. These are for the Bravo people who know these people. Sheree Whitfield on season 2 of The Traitors was a mute for the most part. You would forget that she was there, much like this girl from Summer House, Brittany, I believe that's her name. But Robin, we'll get there, has shown up, everybody. So, they do, Alan chooses Danielle, Bob the drag queen, and Carolyn. They go on the first mission, with the goal of getting shields and more money to add to the bank. And basically, nobody could row a boat for shit. Okay, so Bob the drag queen stood up and said, "Look, heave ho, heave ho, heave ho." That's how we get coordinated. And so they did it, and then basically 2 people had to jump off the pontoon, and basically sacrifice themselves. And Dorinda and Dolores decided to. Then Robin and Ion decided to. So we have 4 housewives who decided to sacrifice themselves. And then, when they finally got tired, got fed up, Bob the drag queen was fed up. He said, y'all keep eliminating, letting the women sacrifice themselves. Men, stand up. So then, what's his name? Bob H. from The Biggest Loser decided he would jump off. And what's the other guy's name? I forgot. What the other person jumped, I can't remember. So anyhow, Danielle said, I'll do it. And Bob did it. And then Danielle was faking, I'll do it. Oh, fine, I'll do it. Okay, can I just say this? Because I'm going to skip. I'm going through details, and I said I wouldn't.
I forgot.
So, all said and done, they lit up the ring of fire, and they left all the people out there on the pontoons, which was foul. But, they said, look, we're going in, because they were told to by production. And so everybody went in, they started eating, they ate up all the food. Have you noticed, everybody, that there's always a shish kebab on their plates? Every meal that they've had shish kebabs. So anyhow, Danielle, Dolores, and Dorinda, and they didn't even really show Robin at that point. When they get back to the house, Dorinda is pissed in Dorinda fashion. If you don't know Dorinda, Dorinda gets pissed and goes haywire. And don't give Dorinda some drinks because it'll be like amplified. So she's pissed, and Danielle's faking like she's pissed. And Bob the drag queen is pissed, faking like he's pissed, or maybe he's really pissed and he's loud about it. Danielle was off to the side acting like she was pissed because really they didn't leave them a lot of food. And Dorinda said, I thought we were going to have a nice meal. So anyhow, let's get down to when they decide, when it was time to murder. When the traitors first meet each other. First comes in Danielle, then Bob the drag queen. Then they revealed themselves and they were like, oh my God, you had me going. Because when they were on the pontoon, Danielle said she was walking a human lie detector, but she didn't know she was being lied to by Bob the drag queen. So, and he didn't know he was being lied to by Danielle. So they found out, hey, we're both traitors. And then walks in Carolyn. Now, instantly, I didn't think these were a good match for traitors, and they showed because they were at odds on who they wanted to murder. So essentially, who did they murder?
I'll go home because I decorated, I cooked, I made it nice.
They decided to murder a housewife because the housewives stick together. But here's the funny thing, the housewives aren't really threats, especially Chanel Ion, because she doesn't even know where she is. She doesn't know what game she's playing. She's so unaware. So, okay, end of episode 1, basically Alan said we're gonna he brought out Boston Bob and said, Boston Bob, you're gonna come into a house as a traitor, but you won't be able, they won't know you're a traitor until after the first murder. That's episode 1 basically. But let's just get down to what my real thoughts are. I'm so disappointed in Danielle. This goes from episode 2 to 3. Danielle thinks she's outsmarting these people by acting. Oh, my acting is fabulous. You're doing too much. I think people do too much. And mind you, I'm not in the house, and I know it's probably more difficult being in the house. But Danielle, you're talking too much. You're talking yourself into a hole. All right, so then later on, they brought 2 other people with him. Who do they bring? From the House of Villains and the winner of the challenge, they brought the redhead guy whose name is escaping me right. Wes. They brought in Wes. Wes is such a jerk, but a funny jerk, kind of, sort of. Like, he annoyed me on the House of Villains, but I think he's going to work in the Traitors' house because he definitely has a good strategic mind.
Don't forget about Big Brother winner Derek.
All these people say they can read, but their reads are always off. The only one who has good reads is the guy with the blue eyes, and I can't think of his name. It's not Wells. What's his name?
This is crazy.
But let's just talk about Danielle. Danielle's doing too much. These traitors are running amok because, one, they're not on the same page. And I kind of like that Boston Rob is in there because he's bringing a little bit more strategy to these 3, Danielle, Bob the drag queen, and Carolyn. Although I feel like Carolyn, out of the 3, who I go figure, I didn't think she would actually have the best suggestions. And Danielle was playing totally emotional to me and just talking too much. She's just doing too much. And now she's been put on a radar. And what's shocking to me is that Danielle's name did not get brought up in the second round table to find the traitor. And that was wild to me.
Crazy, insane.
But let's start talking about Robin again. I was so shocked that Robin has shown up to really play and be so vocal. When it used to take on Real Housewives of Potomac, it took so much to get her to talk, to speak up, to voice her opinion. And when she did, she was always yelling. Now, mind you, she's always yelling here. she's always yelling on the traitors, like, what are you guys? You guys are such wussies. She didn't say that, but we're like, you guys, okay, fine. Why do I have to volunteer? It just, okay, Robin, you're doing too much too. But Robin is on the radar because people think she's a traitor too. And then also, you know who else is not doing well? Bob the drag queen. His name has been brought up so much, and he's too vocal. He's loud and he's vocal. He's entertaining. I'm actually thrilled that he's on the show, but I don't know how long it's gonna last because he's too vocal. And the funny thing is, Boston Bob, it's too many Bobs. Actually, he protected them on episode 3. He protected the traitors because he knew that everybody's name was being brought up. So he basically diverted the attention from Bob the drag queen onto to Tony. And he actually gave Tony his shield when he first came into the house. But who got voted out, everybody, on episode 3? Tony. And I know this review is all over the place, but I am very excited that the Traitors is back. And going through 3 episodes in 15 to 20 minutes is difficult. So I'm just giving my opinions. I feel like these traitors are going to get found out either episode 4 or 5 because they are running amok and they are not a united front, which Tony suggested, do you want to be united front and create chaos? I think initially chaos is necessary, but the way they're doing it is not very chaotic. They're targeting the housewives. If anything, they should have targeted somebody random like that Britney Spears ex who doesn't say anything. He's a mute too.
You see those guys? Of course I saw him. I was looking at him. Yeah.
Like, get him out. He's wasted. He's wasted space. Or go for the girl from Summer House, Britney. Get her out. Just target somebody random. Just kill him. Murder somebody random. And YouTube, I'm saying this in the context. I know you're not supposed to say certain words on YouTube, but you know, we got to get rid of these randoms if you're going to be chaotic. But targeting housewives is strategic. I mean, it's showing that you have a goal in mind. And I don't know why you're targeting housewives. These are women who are, dare I sound ageist, because I'm their age, if not older than I know I'm older than Robin, but you are targeting these older women who really aren't threats. Like Dorinda got voted out. But guess what, everybody? Tony called Boston Bob a sellout because Boston Bob basically diverted that attention back onto him. Now he's out the house. He was going to cry. I know he was going to cry. But anyhow, tell me what you think. Are you excited about this season of Traitors? Like, what are you thinking about these traitors? Are they good? Will they last? Hit the like and subscribe button again and drop into those comments and tell me what you think. Peace.